And he commanded the steward of his house,
Fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put each man's money in the mouth of his sack. Also, put my cup, the silver cup, in the mouth of the sack of the youngest and his grain money.
So he did, according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning dawned, the men were sent away, they and their donkeys.
Oh, he didn't reveal himself yet. What am I saying? Yeah, he just gave him dinner, gave him a little dinner and whatnot.
When they had gone out of the city and were not yet far off, Joseph said to his steward,
Get up, follow the men, and when you overtake them, say to them, Why have you repaid evil for good? Is not this the one from which my lord drinks, and with which he indeed
Joseph
practices divination? You have done evil in so doing.
Wait.
So he
What? Is it not the one from which my lord drinks, and with which he indeed practiced divination? What does that mean? Why have you repaid evil for good? Is this not the one from which my lord drinks? Okay, talking about the cup, and with which he practices divination. Okay, they practice divination with that cup. Is that some Egyptian practice? So was Joseph doing some Egyptian type of rituals and whatnot? 44:5. It doesn't say. I'm curious if, let's see. Let's look it up. Divination. What kind of divination did Joseph do in Genesis 44? Okay. First, okay, let me make this bigger for you guys. First, it is clear that Joseph was using the divining cup. First, it is clear that Joseph's use of the divining cup is part of his test for his brothers. He planted evidence. He could also be faking, right? Saying, this is the cup that we use to practice divination, right? Just to keep portraying the facade that he's this Egyptian lord and not really Joseph. But shouldn't they be able to tell by the way he looks? He looks like a Hebrew. He planted evidence that would link them. Okay, we know all that. And so instead, Joseph may have claimed he used it to divine matters in order to raise the stakes and incite more fear in his brothers' hearts. Second, divination was common in ancient Middle Eastern cultures, especially among its leaders. In fact, Laban once said to Jacob, I have learned by divination. What is divination? That the Lord God has blessed me because of you. Jacob's sons would have at least been aware of the practice and known what divination was. Whether or not Joseph actually used the cup for that purpose, or whether or not Joseph actually used the cup for that purpose. Okay. Divination in the Egyptian court would have been common, and a reference to it would have seemed natural to Joseph's brothers. Come on, article, you're teasing me. What is divination? Third, it is possible, though unlikely, this is one of the few cases in which God permitted the use of objects to discern his will. Other examples include the casting of lots, the priest's use of the Urim and Thummim, and Gideon's use of the fleece. If Joseph did practice divination with the cup, it was not divination in the pagan sense, but seeking God's will through a particular method. Do we know that? What if he was just going along with the Egyptian traditions? The most likely scenario is that Joseph owned a silver divination cup, as did all Egyptian nobility at the time. The context is not clear that Joseph ever used this cup in divination. As part of his plan to test his brothers, he placed something small yet valuable in Benjamin's grain sack. A silver cup was a perfect object in that case, as it held great financial and spiritual value in Egypt. The reaction of Joseph's brothers reveals their concern. They tore their clothes. And Judah also, we're getting into spoiler territory. We didn't get to this part. Judah also said, "How can we clear ourselves? God has found out the guilt of your servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants." Joseph's test worked. His brothers were immediately convicted of their sin against Joseph and attributed their current misfortune in God's hand of justice. Another consideration is that Joseph had no need to use a cup for divination. God had enabled him to have prophetic dreams himself and to interpret the dreams of others. Joseph found his success in God without the use of props. After revealing his identity to his brothers and forgiving the wrong they had done him, Joseph sent them back to their father with this report: "God has made me Lord of all Egypt." All right, so this didn't tell me what divination was. But see, they're taking it easy on Joseph. They're saying it's most likely he owned the divination cup, as did all Egyptians, right? And he wanted something valuable in Benjamin's sack, so he put that, right? What if he actually used it, right? And they're saying, okay, yeah, he could have used it in the in the way that I guess a Hebrew would, with God as God and not some pagan way. But who knows? Who knows in actuality what happened? Did Joseph practice divination? Stack exchange. What is divination? Which means to okay. Here we go. The Hebrew is, I can't pronounce that, which is related to sorcery or divination. The Masoretic text here is, I don't know what that means, which means to practice divination. Other instance, but Laban said to him, "If you will allow me to say so, I have learned by divination that the Lord has made me blessed because of you. Has blessed me because of you." Okay, so we need to take note that divination is not solely pagan. It's a means of communicating with God. Seems like it. "You shall not eat any flesh with the blood in it. You shall not practice augury or witchcraft. There shall not be found among you anyone who burns his son or his daughters as an offering, anyone who practices divination, a soothsayer, or an augur, or a sorcerer." What is divination? Divination, the art or act of foretelling future events or revealing occult knowledge by means of augury or an alleged supernatural agency, an inspired guess or presentiment, something that has been divined. What is augury? The art or ability to practice auguring or divination, a sign of something coming, an omen. An art or practice of foretelling events by signs or omens. Okay, so something in that foretelling type of territory, right? But I guess, Laban did it and revealed something from God. What was the exact thing again? "If you allow me to say so, I have learned by divination that the Lord has blessed me because of you." So it's not necessarily through God he learned it. He learned through divination that the Lord has blessed me because of you. By this other means. So you can technically learn, you can go to a fortune teller, right? And say, yeah, and the fortune teller will tell you, the Lord has blessed you, right? So it's something like that. So I don't think it's a territory that we should go into, right? All right. Let's jump back.
Overtook them, and he spoke to them these same words. And they said to him,
And by a territory we should go into, meaning we shouldn't, I don't think it's something that we should readily practice, you know?
Why does my lord say these words? Far be it from us that your servants should do such a thing.
Look, we brought back to you from the land of Canaan the money which we found in the mouth of our sacks. How
Right.
then could we steal silver or gold from your lord's house?
With whomever of your servants it is found, let him die. And we also will be my lord's slaves.
No, also let it be according to your words. He with whom it is found shall be my slave, and you shall be blameless.
Then each man speedily let down his sack to the ground, and each opened his sack. So he searched. He began with the oldest and left off with the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack.
Uh-oh.
Then they tore their clothes, and each man loaded his donkey and returned to the city. So Judah and his brothers came to Joseph's house, and he was still there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said to them,
What deed is this you have done? Did you not know that such a man as I can certainly practice divination?
Yeah, it seems like he's playing up that he can practice divination, right? Because he didn't practice divination in this case. He put the cup in there, so he knows. He doesn't need some magical whatever to see that they stole something.
Then Judah said,
What shall we say to my lord? What shall we speak? Or how shall we clear ourselves? God has found out the iniquity of your servants. Here we are, my lord's slaves, both we and he also with whom the cup was found.
Far be it from me that I should do so. The man in whose hand the cup was found, he shall be my slave. And as for you, go up in
Not
peace to your father.
Benjamin.
Then Judah came near to him.
Oh, my lord, please let your servant speak a word in my lord's hearing, and do not let your anger burn against your servant, for you are even like Pharaoh. My lord asked his servants, saying, Have you a father or a brother? And we said to my lord, We have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age who is young. His brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother's children, and his father loves him. Then you said to your servants, Bring him down to me, that I may set my eyes on him. And we said to my lord, The lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. But you said to your servants, Unless your youngest brother comes down with you, you shall see my face no more. So it was, when we went up to your servant my father, that we told him the words of my lord. And our father said, Go back and buy us a little food. But we said, We cannot go down. If our youngest brother is with us, then we will go down. For we may not see the man's face unless our youngest brother is with us. Then your servant my father said to us, You know that my wife bore me 2 sons. And the one went out from me, and I said, Surely he is torn to pieces, and I have not seen him since. But if you take this one also from me, and calamity befalls him, you shall bring down my gray hair with sorrow to the grave. Now, therefore, when I come to your servant my father, and the lad is not with us, since his life is bound up in the lad's life, it will happen, when he sees that the lad is not with us, that he will die.
That's sort of sad. How would you feel if you knew your dad didn't love you as much as your brother. I would feel sad.
So your servants will bring down the gray hair of your servant our father with sorrow to the grave. For your servant became surety for the lad to my father, saying, If I do not bring him back to you, then I shall bear the blame before my father forever. Now, therefore, please, let your servant remain instead of the lad as a slave to my lord, and let the lad go up with his brothers. For how shall I go up to my father if the lad is not with me, lest perhaps I see the evil that would come upon my father?
$45.
Then Joseph could not restrain himself before all those who stood by him.
Make everyone go out from me.
So no one stood with him while Joseph made himself known to his brothers. And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard it. Then Joseph said to his brothers,
I am Joseph. Does my father still live?
But his brothers could not answer him, for they were dismayed in his presence.
Yeah, that's like a...
Please,
That's the ultimate
come
shot.
near to me.
So they came near.
I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. But now do not therefore be grieved or angry with yourselves because you sold me here. For God sent me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years the famine has been in the land, and there are still 5 years in which there will be neither plowing nor harvesting. And God sent me before you to preserve a posterity for you in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now, it was not you who sent me here, but God. And he has made me a father to Pharaoh, and lord of all his house,
A father
and a
to
ruler
Pharaoh.
throughout all the land of Egypt. Hurry, and go up to my father and say to him, Thus says your son Joseph.
Yeah,
God
just explaining that father to Pharaoh is like a reference to Joseph being an advisor to Pharaoh, much as the father might be an advisor to his son.
Has made me lord of all Egypt. Come down to me. Do not tarry. You shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and you shall be near to me, you and your children, your children's children, your flocks and your herds, and all that you have. There I will provide for you.
Do you think this could be like the first domino? I mean, it is the first domino. What am I saying? But do you think that the Hebrews being enslaved by the Egyptians is a punishment of what is happening right now? Because God promised Abraham the land, Canaan, where they are right now, right? And now they are moving to Egypt instead of staying in the land that God gave to Abraham. So is this move to Egypt something God didn't want? But then I do remember I don't know if I'm imagining this or what, but did we talk about the Hebrews being enslaved by the Egyptians before, like a prophecy? I do not remember. So I don't remember. But what do you think about that? That this move to Egypt obviously was the first domino in the Hebrews being enslaved, right? Because they all moved over there and then they got taken as slaves, right? But do you think that because they moved, it was like a punishment right? Because they left their promised land, and they shouldn't have left their promised land. Because, I mean, after they were released, they went back to that same land, right? They should have just stayed there, and probably none of this would have happened. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. That's an interesting thought.
Lest you and your household and all that you have come to poverty, for there are still 5 years of famine.
Oh, they're
And
only 2 years
behold,
in.
Your eyes and the eyes of my brother Benjamin see that it is my mouth that speaks to you. So you shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and of all that you have seen. And you shall hurry and bring my father down here.
Then he fell on his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept on his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brothers and wept over them. And after that, his brothers talked with him.
I want to hear what they talked about.
Now, the report of it was heard in Pharaoh's house.
Joseph's brothers have come.
So it pleased Pharaoh and his servants well. And Pharaoh said to Joseph,
Say to your brothers, do this. Load your animals and depart. Go to the land of Canaan. Bring your father and your households and come to me. I will give you the best of the land of Egypt, and you will eat the fat of the land. Now you are commanded, do this. Take carts out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and your wives. Bring your father and come. Also, do not be concerned about your goods, for the best of all the land of Egypt is yours.
Then the sons of Israel did so. And Joseph gave them carts according to the command of Pharaoh, and he gave them provisions for the journey. He gave to all of them, to each man, changes of garments. But to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of garments. And he sent to his father these things: 10 donkeys loaded with the good things of Egypt, and 10 female donkeys loaded with grain, bread, and food for his father for the journey. So he sent his brothers away, and they departed. And he said to them,
See that you do not become troubled along the way.
Then they went up out of Egypt and came to the land of Canaan, to Jacob their father.
Joseph is still alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt.
Imagine
And
that.
Jacob's
Imagine his
heart
dad.
stood still, because he did not believe them. But when they told him all the words which Joseph had said to them, and when he saw the carts which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob their father revived.
It is enough. Joseph, my son, is still alive. I will go and see him before I die.
Aww.
So Israel took his journey with all that he had, and came to Beersheba, and offered sacrifices to the God of his father Isaac. Then God spoke to Israel in the visions of the night.
Jacob, Jacob.
Here I am.
I am God, the God of your father. Do not fear to go down to Egypt, for I will make of you a great nation there. I will go down with you to Egypt, and I will also...
So he's saying, do not fear to go down to Egypt. Probably the fear is arising from that we are in Canaan, our land, the land you gave to Abraham, right? This is our home. So God is saying, don't be scared to go down to Egypt. But now God is condoning the move to Egypt. So what I was saying prior, that's wiped out. That does not make any sense now. Yeah, so God was fine and condoned them going down to Egypt. God wanted them down in Egypt. So, yeah, it was part of God's plan for them to be enslaved and all that.
So surely bring you up again. And Joseph will put his hand on.
God is leaving out the part where they will surely be brought down and then brought up again.
Your eyes.
Then Jacob arose from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried their father Jacob, their little ones, and their wives in the carts which Pharaoh had sent to carry him. So they took their livestock and their goods, which they had acquired in the land of Canaan, and went to Egypt, Jacob and all his descendants with him.
Like, do you think God was thinking, like, yeah, I know that they're going to be in bondage for 400 years if they go there, you know? So why would God say, I will go down with you to Egypt, and I will also surely bring you up again? Do not fear to go down to Egypt, for I will make you a great nation there. You know, knowing that what will happen to them. Did something else happen along the way that led to their enslavement that could have been avoided if they were loyal to God, and then they weren't, and that was a punishment? Or, I don't know. Let's see.
His sons and his sons' sons, his daughters and his sons' daughters, and all his descendants he brought with him to Egypt. Now these were the names of the children of Israel, Jacob and his sons, who went to Egypt. Reuben was Jacob's firstborn. The sons of Reuben were Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. The sons of Simeon were Jemuel, Jamin, Ohad, Jachin, Zohar, and Shaul, the son of a Canaanite woman. The sons of Levi were Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The sons of Judah were
Sounds like
Onan,
Sheila,
Shelah,
Scooby-Doo would say.
Perez, and Zerah. But and Onan died in the land of Canaan. The sons of Perez were Hezron and Hamul. The sons of Issachar were Tola, Puvah, Job, and Shimron.
Job?
The sons of Zebulun were Sered.
Is that Job? Huh? Okay, what is this? 13. Genesis 46:13. Let me look it up. Or was Job before all this? Because I've heard that people say that Job was the first book of the Bible that was written. Genesis 46. 15? What was it? 15, right? Yeah. Genesis 46. 13. Is Job from the book of Job mentioned in Genesis 46:13? This is probably not the same Job. Job in this verse is the grandson of Jacob. Job in the book of Job lived in another country in the land of Uz. Israel is not mentioned in the book of Job. Okay. Thank you for your question. This is strange. It definitely doesn't refer to Job, but spellings change. Yeah. Genesis 46:13 is spelled Eob, pronounced Yob, and it states he's the son of Issachar. First Chronicles 7:1. It is a completely different name. Joshub. What is this? What are they talking about here? Yeah, so it's looking like a different Job, guys. A different Job. The answer to this question is not likely according to the preponderance of evidence. What evidence? Come on, open up, man. Open up. Oh, there we go. Thank you for your kind comment. No, the person isn't the same. The person listed in Genesis 46:13 is Joshub, third son of Issachar, and founder of the family of the Joshubites. He was also called Eob, and somehow his name became Job through misprint or corruption of language. The number of translations and versions have used the proper name or made note of the name in the margins. Okay. Interesting. I mean, I guess we're going to take their word for it for now. Right? Because we don't got time to look into it that deeply right
Elan and Jaleel. These were the sons of Leah, whom she bore to Jacob in Padan Aram, with his daughter Dinah. All the persons, his sons and his daughters, were 33. The sons of Gad were Ziphian, Haggai, Shunai, Ezban, Eri, Arodai, and Areli. The sons of Asher were Jimnah, Ishua, Isui, Beriah, and Serah, their sister. And the sons of Beriah were Heber and Malchiel. These were the sons of Zilpah, whom Laban gave to Leah his daughter, and these she bore to Jacob, 16 persons. The sons of Rachel, Jacob's wife, were Joseph and Benjamin. And to Joseph in the land of Egypt were born Manasseh and Ephraim, whom Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, bore to him. The sons of Benjamin were Bela, Becher, Ashbel.
Is Poti mean priest? Right, because you have Potiphar and Potipharah. But Potiphar wasn't a priest. He was captain of the guard.
Gera, Naaman, Ehi, Rash, Mapim, Hapim, and Ard. These were the sons of Rachel, who were born to Jacob, 14 persons in all. The son of Dan was Hushim. The sons of Naphtali were Jaziel, Guni, Jezer, and Shillem. These were the sons of Bilhah, whom Laban gave to Rachel his daughter, and she bore these to Jacob, 7 persons in all. All the persons who went with Jacob to Egypt, who came from his body, besides Jacob's sons' wives, were 66 persons in all. And the sons of Joseph who were born to him in Egypt were 2 persons. All the persons of the house of Jacob who went to Egypt were 70. Then he sent Judah before him to Joseph to point out before him the way to Goshen. And they came to the land of Goshen. So Joseph made ready his chariot.
Time out. All the persons who went with Jacob to Egypt, who came from his body, besides Jacob's sons' wives, were 66 persons in all. How? Besides Jacob's sons' wives. Oh, besides the wives. All the offspring. Okay, I thought they were talking about the offspring of the wives as well.
And went up to Goshen to meet his father Israel. And he presented himself to him, and fell on his neck, and wept on his neck a good while.
A good while.
And Israel said to Joseph,
Now let me die, since I have seen your face, because you are still alive.
Then Joseph said to his brothers and to his father's household,
I will go up and tell Pharaoh, and say to him, My brothers and those of my father's house who were in the land of Canaan have come to me, and the men are shepherds, for their occupation has been to feed livestock. And they have brought their flocks, their herds, and all that they have. So it shall be when Pharaoh calls you and says, What is your occupation? That you shall say, Your servant's occupation has been with livestock from our youth even till now, both we and also our fathers, that you may dwell in the land of Goshen, for every shepherd is an abomination to the Egyptians.
Yeah, if you want a little explanation of what we were talking about regarding this, check out yesterday's live stream. We went into a little bit of detail regarding this. Okay. Yeah, why did we talk about this yesterday? Oh, I think they referred to them as abominations before, right? Yeah, that's probably what it was. Okay, that's it. 46. So tomorrow we're going to jump into 47, right? Joseph is still dealing with a famine. We're only 2 years into the famine, right? So we got Joseph. Yeah, Joseph. And, yeah. That was it. I mean, that was pretty interesting. We had some stuff to look up. I'm going to put those links in the description. So if you want to refer to them, they'll be right there for you to access. All right, that's it for today. I hope to see you guys tomorrow for Genesis chapter 47. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys there. Take care. Goodbye.